So now we are on, everybody. Good to see you. Let me send out the notification. Good to see you all. Thank y'all for being in here. Yep, I see that it is working. Now, if you are watching this, I may be a few minutes ahead, and you can click the live button if you would like. Or you can fast forward or rewind however you would like through here. So thank you all for joining. I would like to be clear that I am going to cover the news first, and then I will respond to questions and comments. So let's get on with it. I know that a lot of people last night sadly were left in the dark with TikTok going dark. Now, the reason that took place, I don't think I need to explain what the Biden administration was saying, but what ended up taking place is Biden apparently told TikTok that, hey, that they are not going to uphold the fines and regulation and enforce this stuff. TikTok responded back with saying, hey, we need basically something in the written statement because the clarity on this sucks. And they didn't want to take the risk. And it's very understandable. And it's because it would have cost them millions of dollars if that would have ended up being enforced, from a, well, I'm telling you so. So that needed to be in a written statement. TikTok has been in talks with President Trump already. I'll go ahead and call him president, even though that's not until tomorrow. But they've already been in talks, and I know a lot of y'all are seeing this right here. And TikTok put out last night, before they went dark, they let everybody know what was going to take place, that they were going dark, better safe than sorry, instead of having a fine, as well as saying that they will be talking to President Trump to work something out. And we've been seeing a lot of that type of stuff, kind of coming out. And we now have from Donald Trump's Truth Social account, he says, and I will read this off for you. He says, I'm asking companies to not let TikTok stay dark. And the reason being is because there is a part in there for, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's companies for, it's a law that cost millions of dollars per user that downloads something. So something like Google Play Store, the Apple Store, if they allow things to be downloaded or updated in there, they would be subjected to a fine. So that is why you're seeing President Donald Trump say that he's asking companies to not let TikTok stay in the dark. So that's very important there. This is a very different type of president than what we just came out with. You're getting factual information, and you're going to see factual things that are done. And I will be very frank and honest when those things do happen and do not happen. Now, I know that I look tired. Last night was a tough one, but it's okay. All right, so he says that he will issue an executive order on Monday to extend the period of time before the law's prohibitions take effect so that we can make a deal to protect our national security. The order will confirm that there will be no liability for any company that helped keep TikTok from going dark before my order. Now, that's, again, something very important due to these companies underneath this law that just got passed at 12:01 last night, went into effect, to where these companies could be held liable. All right, let's continue on. It says, Americans deserve to see our exciting inauguration on Monday, as well as other events and conversation. It ends with saying, I would like the United States to have a 50% ownership position in a joint venture. Now, that's very interesting. Will Congress go with that, knowing that there's still a part that would be sounding like it would still be owned by ByteDance? Or would that be something that allows just the ByteDance portion to be bought out? It's something that I have been asking is when these people were making offers that y'all saw of X name and X name saying, hey, I'm putting in an offer to buy TikTok. Well, were they trying to only buy a portion? Was TikTok allowed to only do a portion? Those are things that I don't know, and I hope that we will be finding out the honesty from that. So just to let you know, I do not know what the numbers were for TikTok in 2024, but in 2023, they made $16 billion. Now, normally when you want to go buy a business, you do 3 to 4 times the amount. So that's $45 billion to $60 billion that should have been offered on the plate. And we were hearing some of these top dogs saying, that they were only doing 20 billion. And truth is, TikTok can make that 20 billion back, without America, with ease. So, and they also know that they've got a chance for President Trump to do something about this. So, we'll see how those cards play out. So there we go on our latest news of the TikTok situation. And if, as it unfolds, we will get you out the news as the day progresses, or how tomorrow goes. The second that I hear about it, I will strive to go live so I can let y'all know. Now, again, as of right now, I'm just covering the news. After I'm done covering news, that's when I will be looking at at y'all's comments and everything with what y'all are saying. It's just because I know some people are going to be watching this on rewind. So let's do what I normally do. Okay. And let's go into, I know that some areas are witnessing snow falling on the ground this morning. North Carolina mountains, Tennessee mountains, and on up into West Virginia as tomorrow goes into the path. Let's see when this starts rolling in. You have Oklahoma that is going to start seeing this tomorrow evening of a little bit of snow, maybe even Tulsa even getting something. Now, if I was to go and pull up this, let me do a refresh on this of Snowfall. This is the current situation of what you should be seeing on the ground here in West Virginia already. Now, as you see the rest of this playing out all the way through Monday evening, this is what you're looking at in Snowfall. Now, if you'd like to, you can just basically sit here and follow the inches. So, like in Kentucky, you've got, around a dusting. West Virginia, maybe a couple of inches, maybe a few inches in spots. Same thing in Virginia itself on the west side, while you have some other places kind of in central that would be just a dusting as well. You do have Pennsylvania, as you see. If you go to that northwest side, you don't really have anything, but then when you come to central, you're around an inch. If you head towards the south of Pennsylvania, you'll be looking at a couple to a few inches. Once you start going into the southeast portion of it, you're looking at a few inches in there. Now, as you go into Connecticut, you could be looking around 5 inches in some places, as well as Massachusetts, New Hampshire as well. And then once you get into Maine, again in that southeast direction is where you could be seeing a few to 5 inches that is in there. Now, once you get into New Brunswick, things change a little bit, and let me bring that over there. That's where you're seeing 6 plus inches is what they would be looking at for the end of Monday. I do appreciate y'all here. I do want to make that clear. I am very sorry that y'all are in the dark on your TikTok side, but I appreciate y'all. I really do, and I thank y'all so much for being in here and putting your trust into that I'm going to get factual news out to you as much as possible. So, so there you have where that is, that snowfall that comes rolling in. But then you have where on Monday evening going into Wednesday, you have another storm, snowstorm that is going to be launching through. Now, will we see it play out like this? That's going to be the question. But according to this on the ECMWF, this is what it's going to be. Usually this is the one that's more into play, but some people will use something like GFS, and that's where you might just be seeing dustings come across these areas. So no one really knows. If you go into Icon, you notice how things change differently. You may get a heavy dumping in Louisiana, and then it starts to taper off as it goes into Georgia, with only a part of it having snow in the panhandle far west side of Florida, as well as Alabama and Mississippi in the south is where you could be seeing snowfalls anywhere from a few inches. I don't think we'll see 6 inches in Louisiana, but who knows, you might. And like I said, it ends up tapering off as it goes into the Carolinas, and it becomes just a dusting. Now, if we go back to the GFS, that's where it's really just a dusting. And they'll know a good idea once this thing probably hits into Mississippi how it's actually going to play out. They'll probably have a good idea when it actually starts in Louisiana. They'll have a good idea of how it'll play out for everybody else. Now, if you go back to the ECM, that's where you could see a heavy dumping and more of Florida getting it. Jacksonville, regardless, doesn't look like you will at all. And then you have places like Savannah, where they're sitting here and they're showing 5+ inches. Like I said, you have different models for a good reason, and which one will be the one that will be right. All right, let's go and check if anything on the latest. I know right now the ceasefire is taking place. I do apologize. I have not been able to read much into this. I would have loved to do that, but with everything that was going on with TikTok, I felt it was far more important to be there for the friends. So, and people that I basically consider family, and I know that y'all did as well. So thank you so much. All right, so let's see. This comes in from the Biden administration saying about 700 aid trucks will enter the Gaza Strip today. That was a statement about an hour ago that was released. You also have where it says the Israeli army confirms that 3 hostages are now in Israel territory. That was over an hour ago that was posted. 2 hours ago, you have where Israeli security forces operation in the whatever this is, the Ba al-Ahada area in the old city of Jerusalem. So we'll see how this plays out through the day. I know that a lot of people have their eyes on this situation. Once I kind of get my head off of the TikTok ban, these will be things that I will cover very thoroughly for y'all. So Thank y'all so much. Now, here's a thing for y'all who do not know me. I do a lot of tracking of flights. I love doing this stuff. I love seeing if I can find a needle in a haystack, or maybe there's a situation that's going on and it can give me a little bit of insight if I see particular planes that are up. So, for instance, when you had the balloons flying over America a couple of years back, you had where there was like a rivet joint that was up, and I was able to see the patterns on it and be like, that's more than likely tracking a balloon. So, and then that ended up panning out. And then I went over to something like this where I pulled up the wind barbs and I was able to tell people the direction that I could see it going in. And I was saying, yep, it looks like it's going to be flying over that North Carolina beaches right in that area if this is to hold and it doesn't drop down and things like that. And it did. So those are things that I do. Now, I'm not one of these that is a fear monger. I'm not going to sit there and be like, breaking news, there's a doomsday plane up, go run and hide. No, I will explain things to you. So sometimes there is things that I don't know that's going up. I think it was Project Thunderstorm or something like that when that started, and there was a whole bunch of tankers that went up, which is for refueling of fighter jets and etc. And I saw a ton of them fly out of areas in Montana, and I didn't know what it was. But when I found out, I went back to letting y'all know what it is. So that is how I do my things. All right, so let's take a look around, shall we? Let's see, you have the Navy coming down with the C-40 Clipper. So I'm going to assume that's going to go somewhere into Jacksonville. So nothing that I see. Now, I don't talk about every one of these planes. It's just kind of what I like to discuss. But I will talk about it when it's something that is interesting. Or something that's unexplainable to me, you will see I start to talk about it. Now, down here in this area of Alabama, Pensacola area, Dothan, Alabama, that is referred to by me as that's a hornet's nest. Due to, you will see during the daytimes, you will see, dolphins, Lakotas, things like that will be flying around. And then nighttime comes and you will see that the Blackhawks come up, and it's like a hornet's nest. So if you ever go and visit this area, the chances of you seeing something in the sky is very likely. And a lot of people do see that when they're out on the beach. They'll be like, holy smacros, what's that? And if it's their first time, yeah, it's like, is everything okay? Yes, everything is totally fine. This is nothing more than a whole lot of training. So Wardeadpool's back. I did see that comment. I'll read those off at the end, but yeah, I do appreciate y'all. Because I know a lot of people missed this type of interaction from me. You do see a lot. These are more than likely going to be Talons that are going to be up, that are flying around. Again, just a whole lot of training when you see Talons that are up. And right now I do have this filtered in to where it's only military. Sometimes I will filter that off and you'll sit there and be like, well, where did this type of fighter jet come from? And it's from a training school. So, and I can see that type of information by checking out the registration numbers and then going and looking into that, and then I will see that it is registered to X school. So pretty cool stuff. In Texas, you're going to see a lot of Texan planes that are up. Very, very typical. It's not unheard of to see, a ton of these that are flying around. Again, nothing to worry about. And you'll sit there and sometimes you'll see like something like this, a T-45 that's flying around. Nothing more than training. Now, you will see some pretty cool stuff sometimes, or what I feel. Here you have the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, really keeping an eye right here along the borderline. So those are nice things to see. You'll sometimes see black halts that are here. If you are familiar with the story about 8 months back of where there was a black hawk that was taken down, I was sadly able to go into that and view that of where it was that it ended up going down. So I am able to backtrack. So if there's ever an event that's coming on and that is taking place and I'm not aware, just sit there and say, hey, WDP, here's a situation that took place. Can you go and look into it to see if there's anything? I actually sat there, actually helped out when the state of Washington had a Cessna flight that went up. It sounded like the guy did put a notice out to his family letting him know that he was suicidal. And I was able to look on here and see where it bloop last went off at. And that does not mean that's where it went down at. What it meant was that I was able to see. Thank you so much, Kimmy Ann, for gifting me $10. Greatly do appreciate that, Kimmy. But I was able to see the flights that surrounded it. And what I did is I called up, looking at the registration numbers, I called up those places and said, hey, I'm sure you know that they're looking for a flight, but if you don't, your flight ending with this registration number up was at this time. Maybe if they seen something, even if it was a fire or whatever around this time, obviously go and give them a call, letting them know that. So all the places that I did call, I never heard anything back. So, but that's kind of the person I am. But thank you again, Kimmy Ann. Greatly do appreciate that. So let's see what else that we have. Now, you will always hear me, if this is your first time watching me, you'll hear me mispronounce things. Sometimes I do it intentionally. Sometimes it's not intentional. It just happens. But let's see. We have an E6 that's up. It's heading out. We'll see where this carries on at. Now, the way that I look at these is when they start circling, lets me know that there's a possibility that there's one of our submarines down there and they're having communications with them. There is many other things that it does, but that's the main thing that I look for from it. So when it's over land, it's just like, I skip on. What a tease. So I will read y'all's comments off and questions. Give me probably maybe like 10 more minutes and I'll get through this. So I'm not really seeing anything that catches my eye that's going on. If there was a situation, would be better. Now let's go into the fun topic, shall we? Let's go into these drone sightings that people were seeing over 2 months ago. Now, lots of people are saying, are they still up there? Now, you have to remind yourself what's going on with the weather. So a lot of clouds are in the process. So you're not going to see those drones possibly. So could they be there or could they not be there? And Munchie, thank you so much. If you're new to Wardeadpool, join the Team Spicy. Thank you so much. There is where you can subscribe to my channel. All you do is give the thumbs up and select subscribe, and it's totally free. But now there's another way that is in the chat. It's got a little money symbol. You can click on that, and that's where you will end up buying a Team Spicy badge if you would like to do so. You do not have to do so, but I do appreciate those who do, because it's y'all that are helping me to do this full time and help those who also want to see me so much. So I greatly do appreciate y'all and doing that. Thank you so much to all of y'all, even everybody who is watching me. I appreciate your views. I really do. And thank you everybody who goes and gives the thumbs up. The heart button's one thing. I don't know how that works out, so don't exhaust yourself to it. I think it's more important to give the thumbs up, one like, and then to share it. So thank you so much. But here's going back to the drones. Here's an interesting thing that I was looking at. Did they sit here and throw up all these little mini no-fly zones? This is what this map is, by the way. Did they sit here and throw up all these little mini ones for areas that maybe they've seen drones? And some of these have been extended over again, and maybe we'll see them extended again. Now, we did about a week ago, you've seen a lot more. That was, you've seen probably 10 plus. That was throughout upstate New York in that area. And then down here was just a cluster of a ton of them. And you do see them being blipped off and no extension. You see some of these say valid for 12 more hours. So we'll check back late tonight or tomorrow morning and see if these are still up. But yeah, I feel that it's a possibility that these Warfare drone sightings, due to they're sitting there saying up to 400 feet and valid for X amount of time, those type of things let me feel like it's something like that. I'm normal with seeing things like this. Washington, D.C., you know, you have to call to get into there. You know, you might sit there and see something like this down there at the space station and a launch taking place. This is also how I found out, how I find out when a launch is taking place. Because it'll say live in X amount of time, and that lets me know when they're warming it up and getting ready, and usually it's about an hour after that, unless there's any delays that's taking place. Jacksonville is an area down there with that base. Again, you see this type of stuff all the way. Disneyland, Disney World, you see those are no-fly zones. Mar-a-Lago is an area, as of right now, activity coming in and out, and you had Israel, who was actually coming in and out of this location, giving the signal that there was talks with Trump and Netanyahu or whoever it may be. So that's why you see that. Sometimes you'll see Miami have things that goes up, and that's more than likely for a movie. You'll see certain things. So again, down here, you know, in Texas, you know, the Space Center area, and why you will see that. Yes, I will give me a little bit longer to cover things thoroughly, and then I will be looking at y'all's questions and comments. Don't worry. But yeah, a lot of this I can explain why it's there, but it does get fun when, you know, you had the balloon incidents that was going on. Ooh, here we go. Got a space launch coming from more than likely around the HARP location. Looks like it will be active in 2 days. Usually they do this for the Aurora Lights type incident to see what information they can pull out of it. And it does seem like that one's going to be pretty lengthy over a couple of weeks. So probably you're going to see a launch, you know, every single night or every other night, or maybe just on the nights when the Aurora Lights are happening. Now, I know that a lot of people get into the conspiracy of HARP, and I understand that. In fact, I talk about it at times. So, but yeah, just letting you know the factual side is what they're saying it's for, is to sit there and check out the Aurora Lights. Okay. So this is another one as well for the space launch. So you're going to sit there and see this could be the launch, and this is where the landing takes place. So, interesting stuff. Like I said, I can generally explain that type of stuff. Now, on to the last one before I get to talking to y'all. I know that a lot of y'all are waiting on pins and needles. So let's go around and see if there's any type of events that's being launched that I am not aware of. So up in New York, you have 5 injured after a dump truck crashed through the side of a Target. Man. Usually, let's see, United Airline flight makes emergency landing. When did that one take place? I don't know what this one's about. Let me see if I can find the news on that. Again, I was focused on TikTok and not this type of stuff, so that's why I'm out of sync. So let's see. You have United Airlines flight en route of Puerto Rico made an emergency landing at Newark Liberty International Airport on Saturday morning. The Federal Aviation Administration said crew members reported a mechanical issue as the plane flew over the Atlantic Ocean shortly after the takeoff. Okay. So, and the plane landed safely. So that's good to know that sometimes things like that do happen. Don't fear out of, hearing these flight stories or when flights have sadly gone down. You got to look at the percentage. Usually you have, 13,000 flights that are always up, sometimes more, sometimes a little less, but yes. So good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining in here. I will be looking at the comments and reading off y'all's questions and thoughts. I know a lot of y'all are probably wanting to more so talk about TikTok. Let's see. Cases of flu, RSV, and COVID on the rise in Iowa. I did hear, I'm surprised I don't see an event here, but I did hear that the bird flu was hitting in Georgia. One of my friends wrote me saying that they are unable to find eggs. So if you are in Georgia and if you're live in the chat right now, if that is true, will you press 1? If that's not true, please correct me by pressing number 2. In Missouri, we have the avian flu detected in southwest Missouri. So lots of that picking up. You are familiar with that SpaceX exploded a couple of days ago. So, and we've seen some videos come out. It was very cool looking. I don't think I would have been like, all right, I'm gonna stay underneath this because of the way that it was shooting over some people. But yeah, do have down in Mexico. Shut down at Mexico's toxic waste plant after Guardian investigation revealed pollution in nearby homes. In Phoenix, Arizona, you have carbon monoxide poisoning in Mesa. Sadly took the lives of 3 people. That's what's happening in and around America. Let's check this last one in Dominican Republic. Polish tourist confirmed dead in Dominican Republic beach tragedy. That stinks. Haiti's main port closes as state of emergency. Curfew extended, more than likely with the gangs. All right, let's take a look around the rest of the world. Just kind of click on some things here and there. Morocco. 3 million stray dogs. Okay. We're cold. Okay. Let's see. Pakistani migrants. It's feared that they drowned in the Atlantic Ocean. That stinks. It's also in that Morocco area as well. Let's see what is going on in Spain. Ski lift collapse in Spain, injuring at least 30 people. Ukraine, we're familiar. There's a war. We got it. What is this in Baku? Epidemic hazard. First mpox, monkeypox, case detected. Over in Bulgaria, you have 14 sheeppox outbreaks. When did sheeppox become a thing? Thank you so much, Heather, for joining the Team Spicy. So I still got to do it, right? Let's go. Welcome to the Wardeadpool community. Team Spicy, let's go. Thank you, Heather. I greatly do appreciate you doing that. Yeah, when did sheeppox become a thing? Vincent, by the way, is in the background. He would like to tell y'all hello on the YouTube side. Let's see. Knife fight incident in Cairo, Egypt. Let's see. What else do we have? Over there in Afghanistan, in the jungles, you have a clash over the jungle ownership. Took the lives of one person, injured 21 others. Looking to just see if there's something interesting. Hundreds of dead sea turtles are washing ashore in India's coast. Wonder what the cause of that is. That's going to be a topic to investigate on. Thank God for YouTube. You ain't joking. Good to see y'all, by the way. I'm sure y'all have already heard that. Anti-tank explosion took the life of a truck driver, northwest Cambodia. And let's see, you New Zealand kids. 3 whales die after mass stranding in New Zealand. Again, is there something going on with our sea turtles and whales and something out in our ocean? So, what do you mean TikTok's back? Don't be toying with me. Is TikTok really back? Hold on. It's back. All right, breaking news. I'm going live on TikTok, y'all. Take care. God bless. Bye, everybody.